Okay, there we are. Yes, the game should be working. That is because I tapped out. That's why the screen looks very black. So let's go ahead and go to chatting first. Because I want to. Oh no. Oh no. No hippies. Anyways. Hello, chat. I just want to make a few announcements first before we start we start the thing. Okay? Um, so do you guys know the VTuber group I'm in? Excuse me. So we are happy to officially announce that we have three new members, three talents, three lovely talents joining Umbra VTuber group. So congratulations to the VTuber group, to the members who got in. I believe one of them name is Seraphine. Like believe one of them's name is Seraphine, BB, and Gothic Maniac. Congratulations for being accepted to Umbra VTuber group. Congratulations to all the wonderful ladies who are coming in and become one of our talents. So congratulations. So definitely what I want to talk about today is that one of our members, our newest member, was doing her little celebration stream on Twitch, and suddenly she had a bunch of bots coming into her chat, and it banned her. So she was banned during the middle of a Twitch stream, which really sucks. So I made some adjustments for just in case bots come in and prevent from me getting banned or like getting others banned. Like look over to some videos to prevent bots from coming in the stream. It was pretty bad. So yes, so sorry to Gothic Maniac, to our newest member for being banned on Twitch, but at least she is still going, and we hope for her the best, and hopefully Twitch will be able to change their minds about her stuff. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's like what I want to say about earlier, and it was not pretty. It's like, oh, where's she getting all those people? Oh no, don't tell me they're bots. Oh, it's not pretty, but it's okay. It's okay. Um, it was just very sudden. I just don't know what happened, but it's not. It's not fun. Yeah, that's kind of like what I wanted to say about what happened earlier. Especially when it's a very good day, a celebration that turned into that went down like so suddenly. Like yeah, just like that, just like that. Eh, well, it happens. And I'm just like, ugh, that's just sad. The poor girl. Like I feel really bad for her because watching her streams and I've actually seen her before on Discord. I never talked to her, but I know she has very good vibes. She always wants to collab with a lot of people, but a lot of people don't go forward to her. So, but she has very good vibes. That's all I saw from her. And seeing her stream, she's very not safe for worky person. Very often talking about 18 plus stuff. So, especially on Twitch, damn, she's good. I mean, she's fine. It's not a bad thing. That's her content. That's what she wants to do. That's what she wants to say. It's all her stuff. Me, I'm just like super wholesome person who do loot stuff. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's me. All right, that is me too. Hello, hey Seven, you're right on time. Hello, Menace, how you doing? Hello, everybody. I also want to make another announcement, please. Help Rika get Twitch affiliate. She just needs she just needs to stream for about 7 days. So and give her some viewership. I think they decrease it to 3 viewerships. So please give her a lurk if you can. Um so she can get it like a viewer. So that's another announcement. So, if you guys missed the announcement, Umbra VTuber group, the group I'm in, they just recruited three new talents. So definitely congratulations to the members who came over. Yay! And one of them is someone who I already talked about earlier. She does have very good vibes. She's very lovely. And we are planning to have a collab very soon. Just on Blue Twitch because she just got banned on Twitch. So, it's not pretty because all the bots just came over to her streams and they just banned her. So, let's hope Twitch can change their mind about her because she's very lovely. So, yeah, it is very unfortunate. Yeah, not V for siblings, it's genmates, to be exact. Genmates. Yeah, I feel so bad for her. Because it's such a really great day. She said it's also her anniversary for being affiliate, and then all of a sudden, bam! Well, it's okay. You know, she's still going strong. We have another streaming platform we can use, and we just do whatever the heck we want in there. It's Blue Twitch. Whatever. I mean, we can accommodate her. You know, it's not a big deal. Well, yeah, it's very unfortunate, but she's still coming up strong. That's what I like about her. But yes, but yeah, VTuber siblings. If you want to say that, definitely I be the new sibling for Chen Chen. I wonder if there's gonna be more siblings from Chen Chen. I'm just not sure, but yeah, I would be having more siblings of Floofa Blue because she's rigging mines. I mean, there's plenty more because she has all the models. Like, I'm talking about Floof. She has all the models she needs to work on. Alright. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to speak about before like we start getting distracted by gaming. Also, I did want to say, Not Monday Cafe did not work for me. Did not work out for me. I gave an extra code to a friend, and they said they personally don't really like it. I saw how the game is, and it did not look good. When I tried to start the game earlier, the screen was pretty odd. Maybe it's because I'm not used to it. Maybe it's not like maybe they were just going for that kind of style, but the screen itself, it just wasn't really good. And it did not work out for me, so that's why I decided not to stream the game tonight. But good news, there is another game I can stream tonight, and I have been looking so forward to this game for such a long time. It is going to be a simulator game, so be aware that it will be a chill stream. Sorry, my hand was on my hand was in front of the webcam. So yeah, and yeah. All right, yes, new game, and we'll probably play more Yakuza after that if it's kind of a little short. Just know that this game is in early access. There's gonna be a lot of bugs and stuff, but it's not gonna be surprising. So chat if there's anything you see if that I didn't see, please let me know, and we can just discuss what bugs they have currently. And we'll play some Yakuza if we have some time, or we could just chat. So, yes, that's all the stuff I want to say. I'm very excited for the future for Umbra. Please check out their YouTube, check out merches that are on my links. I gotta put them on my night vibe because I keep on forgetting to put my stuff in there. I need to adjust my mic. Sorry about that. Yeah. Giving Rika affiliate, have her hit affiliate. Other than that, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? No, we are not talking about the recent events. Except the part that the candle company thing from like Ugh. We are look. I'm looking for another candle thing because they suck. They suck. Well, yeah. Recent events now. It's getting even worse. Ugh. I mean, who cares about Cinder? Who's that? Who cares about that bitch? Hello, Ari. Yeah, bummer. Whatever. Who cares about that bitch? Hello, Archiham. Archie. Archiham. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a huge bummer. I know. But it's a good thing I didn't there's no products for me. I mean no products from them. So I just went for another one. I mean, they're better. I can tell that they are from their website. They look really good. Um Wow, another Nichi Sanji graduation. Damn. They are slowly losing talents. As they should be. Arc. Oh, Arc. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. But yeah. Oh, anyways. Tonight we are playing Kuloniku. I think that's how it's pronounced. Hold up. Kuloniku, the ramen place, the 3D style kind of ramen. Um, ramen simulator game that I've been looking at for so long. Oh, it looks like they're okay with like content creators going like, "Hey, thanks for playing. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it for the cloud." Cool Miku. Hey, let's go. What do you mean by cool Miku? Oh, that's no. It's Kulo. My bad. Kulo Miku. Niku. God damn it, Seven. Stop making me confused. Kulo Niku. There we go. Let's go and say live now. Going to playtest this game. This amazing game. It looks really fun. This game. I love these kinds of food games that you can play. You just make like food. I don't know what. You just make food. Yeah, same as Overcook. It's kind of like Overcook when you do make food, except Overcook is like a lot of pressure. Nah, this one's a very comfy game. Um, let's see. So yeah, anyways, hurrah. I'm just glad they are okay. It was like, yo, content creators, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Hurrah! There is like discussion of like, yeah, clout chasing. It's very BRB in a few minutes. Oh, no problem. Like the clout chasing thing. It's gonna be hard. And yes, you could say it's kind of like clout chasing, but no. It is good for promotion. It's good because it's trending. But it's good to like spread the word onto a game and all that stuff. That's a good difference for instead of just like sabotaging artists for your own clout, for your own brand, for your own business. Oh yeah, I know. There's like a lot of stuff I'm mentioning, and I don't want to. Let's not talk about it too much. It's just sad, sad world, and it's gonna take a long time to recover. It is. It's pretty messy, but for now, let's go ahead and chill. Let's just chill, everybody. There we go. There we go. Yay! Okay. So the music's okay. Let me go lower. Alright. Let me know the game's a little loud or something, but yeah, just let me know it's loud. Guiniku, woohoo! Bakuso. Ooh, I'm so excited to play this game. I have been looking at it for a little while, and it's just really is appealing to me a lot. Because it's, first of all, food. You make food for people. Second is a simulator game. I love simulator games. And also, Japanese food, delicious. Asian food, delicious. Delicious noodles. We shall make. Oh, character name. Well, obviously. Yay! Let's go! Let's go make some nudes! Alright, what do we have here? Oh! Damn! Fiery! Look at that fiery lady, guys! Oh! Ow, that hurts. Oh my god. Ouch! Owie! Look where you're going! Look where you're going! Wait, what voice should I give her? Look where you're going! You, who the fudge are you? Huh? You're the new owner of this restaurant? And you're called Haruna? I see. So you're her grandchild. Yeah, my name is Haruna, I'm a dude. Imagine my surprise when I saw the doors open again. I thought... Oh, forget it, chump! This restaurant might have been a big deal back, but that's long in the past. I can't do tomboy voice. Now my Starstruck Diner is the hottest, brightest restaurant around, and Stella, am the rockstar chef. Look, can you even cook? You know what cooking is, right? Yeah, I make ramen. I dare you to cook me a bowl of meatball noodles. What? Girl here wants some balls. Can you make me meatball and noodles? Prove it. Alright, let's do that. Take a look again at customers' orders. Write this. Meatball and noodles. Okay. Oh, nice. Check it out. Close it when you're done. Right click for it. Open the recipe book. Meatball and noodles. Okay. Oh, I really like that. Remember the recipe ingredients and close the recipe book. 1 noodles, 3 meatballs, 1 sweet soy sauce. Okay. 1 noodles, 3 meatballs, and 1 sweet soy sauce. Okay. Grab a bowl. Hot pot area here. Okay. Open the hot pot lid. Okay, noodles. Oh, meatballs. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Close the hot pot lid. Okay. Okay, so... Okay. Got the ingredients. 2, 3, 4 soup. Oh, seasoning area. Where's that? Here? Oh, here. Okay, seasoning area. Or seasoning sweet soy sauce. These utensils. Okay. Chopsticks. Of course, chopsticks. Ding ding. Yay! Oh, so soon today. Oh, looks like somebody so soon today. Amazing! Amazingly mid. Don't get the wrong idea, okay? Somebody soon today. So you can actually cook edible food. I underestimated you. But your food's not nearly as good as your grandma's. Wow. Turns out I have nothing to worry about after all. Nah, I win. I win, bitch. What the star? Nah, you won't. My food is the bestest in the multiverse. My salty starfish bowl can even knock out a bear. I bet you won't even last half a day here. Why would you want to eat my food? Smell you later. Oh, hello. You know what tender meatballs remind me of? Oh, is it a... Never mind, it's impolite to say it out loud. I like a sweet soy sauce, meatball, chili sauce, noodles, and vinegar powder. That's a lot of seasonings you're putting in there, but okay. Hello Sid, how you doing? This is expressive, I know, right? It's so expressive. This is called Kulo Niku. Bowl up. It's in playtest right now. It's in early access right now. Okay, it looks like they just want everything. Okay, noodles, they just, wait a minute, okay, they want one meatball, okay, one meatball, noodles, how far is close, oh, noodles and meatball. What do tender meatballs remind her of, sus? There we are. Oh, soup. That's the broth. Okay. Vinegar powder. Chili sauce. What else do they want it? Oh, we can press space too. That's really useful. Utensil. Here you go. Oh. No. Yay! It's not called Kumiku. No, it's not. It's Kuloniku. Hold up. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Yum, right? Noodles Delight is a popular menu, no? I'll try that. Noodles Delight. Okay, what's that? Looks like you're out of clean balls. Go to the sink. Okay. Grab a dirty bowl. Oh, we just wash it like that. Oh, I like that. Oh. Release the bowl. Finish cooking. Oh. There we go, just like that. What is Noodles Delight? Noodles, 2 meatballs. Okay, sweet soy sauce, vinegar powder. Okay, 2 meatballs. Okay. Noodles, 2 meatballs. Maybe watch this, you can't cook. Oh, come on. I know you can cook. You just gotta know how long to cook the noodles and stuff. Let's see. You gotta know your recipes too. Sweet sauce and vinegar. Okay. Oh shoot! Broth. There we go. That's how you make. It's just a noodle soup. I thought it was just ramen. Here, chopstick and ding ding. Nice. Presentation, the aroma, the taste. They're all superb. It's just noodles. Yay! Wow. My gosh, it's such a business game. I really like that. It's a very, yeah, I like how to manage your manage this, manage that. So that's really good. Hello.
Oh, hey there. You're Haruna, right? Welcome to Koloniko. My name's Mommy, born and raised here. My dad heads the local business association, so I'm helping him welcoming new businesses owners like you. Keep up the good work. I really enjoy having another restaurant here, you know. And I'm sure Ume and the others do too. It's a small town, so you'll meet everyone soon enough. Stella's restaurant is fine, but it's way too loud. She keeps rocking out to her songs while cooking.
Wow.
Her fans can get too rowdy and start a mosh pit. They keep bumping into me my food.
That sounds way too chaotic for me to.
You could say that again. My place always started getting rowdy a couple years back. All thanks to a breakout single blue cheese supernova. Good for her, I guess. But sometimes a girl only wants to eat in peace and quiet.
Yeah, like me.
Anyway, I'm ready to place my order now. Let's start with
motherfucker.
Let's start with sweet meatball twist. Yum.
So apparently what I just learned is that this is pretty much okay, so what? So she doesn't want vinegar powder? Oh, side dish. Okay. 4 meatballs. Sweet meatball twist. Okay, so is that what? Does that mean she doesn't want? Kitty, please. I'm streaming.
Hello, motherfucker. How you doing?
No noodles? There you are. Okay. Switch pages. Oh. Sweet. Oh. Wait, okay. Okay, not sweet. Oh, wow. Okay, it's sweet. And meatball twist. Here, a spoon and a fork. Ding ding. Yum yum, just meatballs. I can't do high voices too much.
Yum, thanks. Anyway, you came from the city, right? You got to tell me all about it sometime. I really want to move there. This town's way too small for my dreams. But bye now.
Hooray! But I can't. Well, you're good.
Yeah. Ooh, just coming here to make my tummy rumble already. Ooh, meatball twist sounds great. Oh, and making the whole thing sweet and spicy. Give me more of your sweet soy sauce and rice. They're the best. I already had vinegar powder for it. Vinegar powder for breakfast, so skip it.
How are you eating vinegar powder? Already had the vinegar powder. Okay, then no vinegar powder. Okay, she just only wants meatballs. Normally we would separate noodles and meatballs because meatballs they would cook a little bit longer than oops, I forgot the soup. They would cook a lot longer than noodles. Noodles are very fast to cook. Oh, she says she wants more sweet sauce. Okay, more sweet soy sauce. And chili sauce. She wants chili sauce. Oops. Sweet and spicy. Okay, and utensil. Here you go. Yay! I want some extra rice. Oh shit! I forgot the rice. Ah! I forgot the rice. Oh shit! Sorry. It's meatball. I'll have one as honors. Salty and spicy meatball twist. I like more noodles with that. Don't forget the spoon and fork. Okay, okay, okay. We gotta memorize them. Okay. We gotta know what the customers want. I'm playing the Yakuza Pirate. Yakuza Pirate. I'm playing the recent game. Okay. More noodles. Okay. Okay, they want meat spice. Okay, meatball twist. More noodles with that. Okay, more noodles. Okay. Just animated. Let's go. I'm good. I'm excited. Here we go. Meatball Supreme. There you go. Broth. Okay, it's very salty right now. Let's see. Salty and spicy meatball twist. Oops. Okay, it's not spicy. Okay, it's very salty right now. How would I be able to bounce? Oh, it's fall. Okay. Majima's goat. Yeah, Majima's great. Vinegar powder was missing. I wanted salty, but it's very salty. Oh my god! But this game is really good. I like it. I really like this game a lot. Oh no, it's because hey, super salty noodles delight is a popular menu. No, I'll try that. I tell you, I have a taste for rice, no soup. Don't forget the spoon and fork. Okay, I really am liking this game. Yay! This is so good. I love it. Looks soon do they cute. I know, right? I love it. This is so cool. Oh, I think it's because it's more salty. It's because oh, because there's too many meatballs in there. Noodles delight. Noodles delight. What was it again? 2 meatballs. Okay, 2 meatballs. 2 meatballs. Ew, disgusting bot. Okay, hang on. Speaking of bots, we don't like that. It was very salty. More meatballs. How did I make it more salty? Oh, the sweet soy sauce, of course. No soup. Oh, I get it now. Spoon and fork. Hang on a second. Take that guy away. Banning this guy. There we go. Vinegar powder was missing. I want super salty. It's very salty. I didn't want the soup, but you gave me the soup. Kind of slow, but it's fine. There's patience too. What the heck, bro? There was patience too. Oh my god. I love this game. It frustrates the heck out of you.
Mommy!
That's how you pronounce my name.
Mommy!
Anyways, mommy, sorry. You get next time, chef. I am the chef. I will be the awesome chef tonight. I will be a better chef. But anyways, yeah, I want to talk about the restaurant. It's actually not a ramen place. It's Noodle House. Oh. Okay, I see what it is. Cooking duel. Ooh. Ooh. You're asking me to have a battle with you, huh? A meatball brawl. Let's go. It's okay, guys. We can do this. We can do this. We can be a better chef. Naughty TV. Yahoo! Yahoo! You're over there, over here. Not too far, right? Nice thing about a small town is you can get anywhere from by walking. Yep, the cooking arena is also a local TV station. Surprised? Oh. The town sauna is also an aquarium. That's why the fish are always so sweaty. Ouch. Anyways, I'll do my best. So there's no need to hold back. May the best chef win. Yeah! I will be the best chef! Welcome all eaters, crunchers, and food munchers! Get ready for the most watering event in town! Meatball Brawl! After a long break, Bakuso finally reopened its doors. Let's see if it can defeat its title as the town's beloved meatball restaurant. It's a noodle house. I am your host, the one and only Russo. Oh yeah, let those smiles bloom. Next, give it up for our panel of judges. We just got off the streets. Oh. She enjoys chewing on sweet and salty noodles while reading her books. It's Ume. Hold up vinegar powder though. It's too sour for her gentle heart. Okay, no sour. Okay. Today's challenger is Mummy! She knows everything in town, but does she know how to cook? Let's meet Bakuso's new owner. This young chef moved from the city to continue Bakuso's celebrated legacy. Give your hottest, freshest welcome to Haruna! Yeah, that's me, everybody, that's me! I got forced to be in here, but hey, let's go! First, our brawlers will choose the dishes they'll cook today. What kind of food can satisfy our discerning judges? There's only one judge, dude. Why do you have pink hair? Ew. Meatball and noodles. Oh. If she doesn't like vinegar. Great! Our brawlers will now cook their chosen dish. Bear witness, folks, for culinary legend is about to unfold! Get set, ready, and brawl! I just cook. Once you're done, you're winning. Take start preparing the food. Follow the sequence. Please the crowd. Increase the manners. Oh, meter, my bad. Well, meatball and noodles. 1 noodles, 3 meatballs. 1 noodles and 3 meat. What the fuck? Hit the sweet spot. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Exactly like... Oh my god, is that Cooking Mama? Is that Cooking Mama? This is Cooking Mama! This is so Cooking Mama. Sound effects. 3 meatballs. Okay, 3 meatballs. Okay. Did you play Cooking Mamas back in the days? Yeah, I did. Fish in action. What the heck? That's it? Huh? I'm so confused, man. Okay, sweet soy sauce. What the heck? Am I doing this right, chat? And turn like that? Wait, what? I'm confused. Is it cooking? Okay. Can I put this aside? Clean salty noodles, but I'm gonna put it on the side or I'm so confused. Oh, okay. To like drop everything, crash everything. Probably it's because probably it's like early access right now, so everything is just very confusing right now. Did nothing in this turn. Damn. Okay, okay. It's okay, it's early access right now. Early access. Click it and hold to throw stuff out. Time is up. Oh yeah, those bowls will look absolutely divine, don't they? No. Let's see what our panel judges think about her in this dish. Judges? Your scores, please. It was bad! Quite a decent score. Yeah! See what the judges think about Mommy's dish. This was decided. Awesome! Opponent's points. Meatball is me! Yeah, I won! I won! What an unforgettable match! A day for the recipe books. Thank you all for coming, and see you on the next Meatball Brawl. Oh, I lost. It was hard to cook while watching Lick Talk uses and playing Roblox. And watching Subway servers. Congrats, Haruna. You were so awesome back there. So you know how Meatball Brawl goes. You better get used to it since I'm sure a lot of people have their eyes on Bokuso. Don't go losing it. And you totally gotta teach me those big city cooking skills someday. Typo. Typo. Is it true that that in the city they have a flying cars called planes? That's amazing! Oh yeah. Well, it's late. I'll go home and doom scroll some more. See ya. Yo, guys, I won! I won! Epic! Yeah, that's me! Oh! I win! I win! I win! I'm epic! I win! I win! Oh yes, that's true. Hey, hello!
Good day. You are Haruna, correct? I watched your Meatball Brawl with Mommy yesterday. My name's Ume. It's a pleasure to be acquainted with you. My family runs the general store here. It's called Ume Shop. Please visit us for all your shopping needs. Oh, I would like that. We have a bit of everything from tools, produce, and even home decor. Oh, and as a welcome gift, we like you have this cutting table set. Unleash your inner ninja, stab, slice, and dice every food in your way with our state-of-the-art blade 3.0 technology. Okay. That's what it says in the brochure.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Who here played the Yippee? Scared the heck out of me. What the heck? Oh, Yippee! Oh, so it was you, Mai. It was you. So you did it. You did it, you culprit. Well, anyways, thank you so much. Hello, thank you, thank you. Saying hello before bed. Oh. Oh. Oh, not really. I just kind of surprised me when it was like, what the fuck? Ah, damn. Cutting table. Hey, how you train? Incoming. Oh my gosh. My, sorry. Zesty Noodles. Ah, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Zesty Noodles. Oh, grab them all. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god! Put it here. Put it here. Okay. Well, I need to know what zesty noodles is, please. 2 meatballs, 1 noodles. Okay. 2 meatballs. 1 noodle. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Mai. Sorry, I'm really enjoying this game so much. This is so much fun. Multiple topping area. Oh, topping area. Oh, spicy? One chili. Oh, okay. Chili. Okay. Chili. Cut the ingredients. How do we cut it?
Oh, like this?
Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Oh, the chili is hurting my eyes! Ah! Can I rub it around your eyes? Yeah, I'm gonna rub it all over Chet's eyes. My eyes! My eyes! Oh, is it enough? But you liked it that, guys. Having chili right in your right at your eyes. Chopsticks. Okay. My eyes!
Yum! This is delectable. I thought food like this only exists in fairy tales.
What? Aw.
Thank you. The way you cut down all that food stuff in cold blood, it gave me shivers, Haruna. But like, in a good way.
Yeah, enjoy those chilies around your eyes, everybody. Enjoy it. Anyways, I had to go back to the store right now. Please give us a visit when you can. We'll give you the best deals. It's so out of pocket. Hey yo, why is she so scared?
See you again. Enjoy the night.
Who's next? Sup? I have time to my next shift, so I thought I'd come over. Oh, you have noodles delight on the menu? One of that. Nice, nice. Now just make it super salty. Extra chili sauce will go hard with that. Get me? Alright, alright. Noodles delight. 1 noodle. 1 noodle, 2 meatball. Okay. 1 noodle. 2 meatballs. Yum, yum, yum. Delicious. Okay, super salty, extra chili sauce. Okay. Make it super salty. Super salty. Oh yeah. More! Super salty! Hello! More sauce! Who wants a super salty? Super salty! Super salty! Oh yeah! Super salty! You have a good night, Molly. Thank you so much. Extra chili sauce. Yo, yo, yo! Don't he want super salty? Here you go. Mmm. Oh yeah! Super salty it is. Oh, okay. Fish cake. Naruto's. Yes, give me some Naruto's. Delicious. Oh, delicious Naruto's, everybody. Some chop. Nice and chopped, right? There we go. Now it's super salty. Oh, yeah. Look how beautiful this noodle soup looks like. Vinegar powder. Alright, here you go. And a little vinegar powder. Here, why don't you use some chopsticks with that? Fish cakes are jumping, huh? Tilt the knife when you're chopping or scrolling. Oh, kind of slow, but it's fine. Alright, I was a bit slow, sorry. I'm sorry, it was a bit slow. I was just having too much, Stella, of course. Uh-huh. I'm sorry, sir. I was having fun with my knife. Oh, and thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mr. Ant. Spicy meatball. Noodles today with no sweet soy sauce. Please don't add soup. Okay, no soup this time. No soup. No soup this time, okay? No soup. Am I having too much fun in this game now? I am having too much fun in this game. Spicy meatballs and noodles. Okay, spicy meatballs and noodles. Those and meatballs. Did we just give them one meatball? No soup. No soup this time. No soup. No soup. Meatball and noodles. Oh, meatball and noodles. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, meatball and noodles. Okay. Oh man, this is really hard. They don't really specify what's on the menu. So you gotta... Oh. No sweet sauce, don't add soup. Okay, spicy. Okay, they want spicy. Spicy. Okay. No soup. They want rice on the side. Okay. I know, right? This is really good. Yeah! Kind of slow was fine. Yeah, I know, it was a little slow. I'm sorry. I had to take my extra time on the meatball. Sorry. Hello. Oh, you have meatball twist on the menu. One of that. Nice. Now, just make it spicy. Extra meatball and rice. We'll go hard with that. Okay. More meatballs. Okay, they want a meatball delight. They want a meatball delight. Oh, meatball twist, my bad. Just meatballs. Okay, it's just meatballs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just meatballs. Meatballs make it spicy. I know, whoever's in like the restaurant business, they have to deal with that. Okay, make it spicy. What if I want to add chili? Make it spicy. Here you go with rice. Yay! I wanted some extra meat. Oh fuck! Vinegar powder was missing. Oh fuck! After still, of course. Oh my god! This is frustrating, chat. Meatball twist. Okay, she wants a meatball twist too. Spicy and sour. Give me more of your rice. That's what's chopsticks. Okay. So she wants extra rice. Okay. Oh my god. This is a nightmare. Or like this is a struggle, but I love it. This is not an easy game to play. But this is so much fun. It's not a super casual game. Like, this is a casual game, but it's like it frustrates the hell out of you. Okay, meatball delight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, no extra meatballs. Oh god. Oh my gosh. Okay, she wants it spicy and sour, okay. Sour and spicy. Not sour. Okay, not sour. Oh my god, I think it's because... Wait. Hello? We have more? It's extra spicy. Because there's spicy on this one, or it's making it more sour? No, it makes it more spicy. Okay. That's what's chopsticks. Forget this. You know what? Forget this. I don't care anymore. Oh my god. I want sour. It's not sour. Kind of slow. It's fine. Forget this. This is hard. So hard to satisfy customers. Hey, chum, still looking dopey, I see. So you beat mommy in the meatball brawl, huh? You must feel like you're hot stuff right now.
Becca!
Hey, huh? You're no hot stuff. You're cold, frozen, like that leftover popcorn I forgot from the back of my fridge. What? That doesn't make any sense. Don't think I recognize you as Bakuso's rightful heir just for that. That's right, I'm challenging you to a meatball brawl. Oh, ha ha ha! You can start crying now, because there's no way I'm losing this. What if I win? Loser. Wait, are you serious? You winning? Don't be so delusional at your age. It's really sad, actually. If you need help, I'll give you my therapist number. Wow! What a bitch! You know what? Let's make this interesting. If you win, I'll grant you anything you want. Ooh. Smell you tomorrow, chump. Get ready to crumble like fried wonton in a washing machine. What? Her logic is so, I don't know, cuckoo. Hang on, give me a bit. How long I've been streaming this? An hour. About an hour of like me groaning and me crying about how frustrated this game is. It's so much fun. Hey, chump! So you showed up. You got guts at least. I'll give you that. I've always wanted to run Bakuso since I was little, you know. That's why I learned how to cook. But before I could challenge your grandmother, she was getting on in years. A shame I never got to face her meatball brawl. I mean, new generation. Let's go for it. But I thank my lucky stars that you came to take over. Oh, I noticed her hairstyle is a star. That's how it is. A wimpy chump like you, I'll beat you so bad, you'll roll straight back to the city, you, like a meatball. And then, I'll finally make Bakuso mine. Bakuso deserves nothing less but the best chef running it. My webcam is like blocking the last part of the text, so that's why I'm kind of looking over my chat. You are totally cooked. Let's go! Welcome all eaters, crunchers, and food munchers. Get ready for the most mouth-watering event in town. Meatball Brawl! I am your host, the one. Isn't that a repeated dialogue? Off the streets! Hey, let's go get slippers, noodles, and peas! Enjoy the sourness, unless it's from Bok Choy, it's Lado! Ugh. And the right to Bakuso is a ringing champion, Haruna! You have a good night, Sid. Thank you for stopping by. What kind of food will satisfy him? He likes sour. Meatball twist. Oh. Great, our brawlers will now cook their chosen dish. Yeah! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Yippee! And brawl! Let's go! Round 2, baby! Let's get the man some sour food! Slippers, noodles, and bees. Okay. I think the red text must have mean. Oops. Oh shit. Oh! 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 No! No! I messed up! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! It's supposed to be Meatball Delight! No! No! I messed up! No! No! messed up. I'm so used to like. I'm so used to playing around with the noodles. Oh my god. Oh shit. Finished. Does he want soup? This is spring onion, garlic, pickled bok choy. Yeah. Oh, pickled bok choy. That's very perfect. If it were to be sour, then okay. How do I lean? Ah, fuck it up. Fuck it all. Fuck it all. Clean the knife. D. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, yeah, pickled veggies. That's gonna make it thing sour. That's delicious. Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Meatball delight, sir. Insufficient action. What? I messed up. I told her to her cooking. She's an expert, guys. Sup. I'm messing up so badly today. I'm messing up so badly. Oh god. Why am I messing up tonight? So sad. Sad face. Oh god. Okay. Pickled bok choy. Gonna make things sour. Thumbs up. Look at all the ingredients. Okay, tap the slice. Yeah. Why don't we clean the knife? Oh, it's the different buttons. It's cooking mama. Oh, does that count? Okay, it's sour. Okay, meatball delight. Like this. Hot pot, I will add white tofu and dumplings to their cooking.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, I think we just use each turn just to cook up some more stuff and... Okay, I'm getting it now, the brawl. It didn't really teach me anything. I am so cooked. Literally. I'm so cooked, chat. What up? I'm so cooked. Okay. Okay, this is the meatball delight. Oh, no. Make it very sour. Yeah. That's what the crowd wants to see. Yay. Okay. And nothing in the search. She's like, hey, I win. Sad face. Okay, I get it now. And nothing in this turn. Okay, I'm getting the brawl now. Oh yeah, those bowls look absolutely divine, don't they? Yeah, let's see if I get lucky again. Let's see what our final judges think of our own this dish. Yeah! Oh, it's terrible. Let's go. utterly terrible. Also, what a decent score. Oh no, I think I lost. Bonus points each contestant score and the winner is Stella. Defeat. My face. Can I try again? Thank you for the rest of my bucks. Thank you all for. Thank you all for coming to see you on the next Meatball Brawl. Wahaha! I won. It's finally mine. Alright. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, we lost. Game over. But hey, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Bad end? I guess it was a bad end. Like, where did I messed up? I don't know any of all the ingredients in this, in the brawl thing. It was like, there's no tutorial. Well, excuse me, on this part, so it was really hard to know what to do when there. So, but anyways, this was really fun. It's so frustrating. What if I want to replay this game again and just try and win? Should we? Oh, that was fun. That was fun. I really enjoyed this game. So far, I don't think there's any bugs I can report right now, except the part when you, like, have to take us to the brawl right away and not give us any tutorial. But it was still fun. It was still a lot of fun to play. Alright, Yakuza time. I want to see how the girls are in the Yakuza. So I'm looking forward to seeing more sub stories on the Yakuza. But anyways, whoever just came in, hello. Oh, hi Lurika, thank you for lurking. I didn't notice. Hope your stream went well. But yes. Well, whoever came in, hello everybody. How's everybody doing? Hope you all enjoyed my screaming from tonight. So sad. Okay, gonna open up that game. Okay, gonna make that. Capture the game. Go. Yeah. Ah, I remember. We're gonna go to a race with the lady. And I will adjust the screen. It's very fixable. Don't reach it. Alright. Let's just wait for the game to load up first. Hope you all had a good day. Hope you all had a good time watching me be frustrated. But I still had a ton of fun. I fortunately don't see much. They did a real good job with this game. It was an early access. It was so much fun. I am willing to buy this game. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Can't wait for the full release. Okay, I just need to adjust the screen a little bit. There we go. Alright. Race time! What's the model? Hey, you guys.
Oh.
Hi.
You'll get to see some Mario Kart in this game. It's honestly pretty easy. I remember how to play this game. Oh. There we go. Oh, let's go, Rays! Yeah, let's go! This is the boost. Oh, this one's to recover my thing. Oh, damn it! That's my barrier. Oh, I don't know how to drift in this game. Oh my god, this one's terrible. Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I'm being attacked! Oh, I forgot to! I need to change the title. Give me a sec, chat. Give me a little while. Oh, this car sucks. It doesn't drift. Do I know how to drift in this game? No. Oh. It's such an easy Mario Kart game. Like, oh my gosh. So epic. Look at that. So epic, chat. Damn. Oh. Sure. You think you're so epic? Let's go! Yippee! Yahoo! Let's go! There's no items I can throw at you. I know, right? It's so peaceful. Such a peaceful Mario Kart. We don't have to worry about red shells and blue shells. Blue shells. Alright, give me a bit. Let me change my title. Title. Like a dragon. Alright, let me see something else. Alright. We won 5th place. Yeah, we're racing with somebody. Oh, she wanted the excitement. There you go. Aw, glad you loved it. You must have really liked cars. Like carts. Must have really liked the race.
Hi.
Ah, an agency that tells you what to do, huh? Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, just a little drink. Just a little drink. Oh no. You can't be hanging around with rowdy guys like it. Like, damn. Looks can be deceiving, right? Wait, bro. Oh, interesting. You can't drink. Yeah, how about some tea? Oolong tea. Oh. Oh, come on. Why not take some oolong tea? 2 beers, please. Kampai. Yeah, you gotta have some dinner. No, 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 girl. No, you gotta stop her. You gotta stop her, man. Stop her, man. She needs to work. Wow, she's so interesting.
Go.
Interesting, interesting. Oh my gosh, she's drinking more? Oh my god. Girl, I think you had enough. You had enough. Can somebody help this girl? Oh my gosh. Bro, you got a dinner! Oh no! Why you gotta make her drink so much? Bro, you're supposed to be watching her. Oh, that's the waitress. I think she had enough to drink. Oh my gosh. Girl.
Oi!
Oh gosh, she's so drunk. Hell. She's so wasted. Oh my gosh. Oh. Why did you stop her from drinking so much? Oh gosh. Have her drink some water. Girl, I don't. Girl, you have enough to drink. You're so aloha. Oh no. Yeah, let's yeah, help her out. She's very drunk. Man, it's just like me with tequila. It was hitting me hard like that too. Oh gosh. She's a mess. Okay, okay. Oh no, not this fancy ass place. Uh-oh.
Huh?
Oh shit. Oh no! No, no, no! Bro, you don't want to take advantage of a drunk lady here. Seiko, please. Oh my god.
Huh?
Oh my gosh, she's a drunk fighter. Oh, she's a drunk fighter. She's like a wallet as a weapon. Oh my gosh. Is there a metal sheet inside? What is she? Chat, what is this lady? Drunk master style. I'm good. I'm good. Don't mess with that drunken lady. Hi. Oh shit. Hi. Um, um. Girl, no, no, no. Calm down, calm down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh no. She's sleeping. Oops. Hi. She's sober. Ah, that's her true form, huh? Ooh. Oh man. Huh? Excuse me. They liked it? Damn. They see something more in her. Remaining true to our values. Yeah. Hey, let's go. She's in. Oh. Oh my gosh, let's go. They've seen another side of her and they accepted her.
ありがとうございます。
I know, right? Don't drink too much again. Woohoo! Let's go!
はい。ありがとうございます。
Oh.
Selfie! More beer! Beer friends. Beer friends. That was interesting. Okay, one more to go. Revolt. Time for the last push. Let's go! Wait, this way. Let's go to Revolt. No. Oh, I think that's why I don't see much taxis around. 'Cause it's nighttime. Yay! Do-do-do. Collab stream. Let's go. Here. Oh, you strong.
Oh.
Let's get streaming! Ooh. Eh. This food is Super Cream Pirate Captain Holiday Hotspot Honolulu. Woo! Pirates! Oh no, do I have to play one of those old Sega games? Entertain the viewers. Yeah, exactly. That's what a streamer do. One of my fans said, like, damn, you've been streaming a lot lately. That takes a lot of energy. It's like, yeah, that's my job. And I've been pretty much happy about my streams lately, like streaming lately. If you mess up a little, yeah, it's okay if you mess up a little. Things like that. Yeah, I've been happy streaming lately. It's fun. Mazima! Captain Mazima, let's go! Let's go! Collab stream!
Oh.
Ooh, sad and sad things. Basically, ensure your true emotions on display. In any given moment, putting too much effort in faking will just come across to try hard and inauthentic. And so the trick is just be yourself. Yeah. Yeah, respond to emotion, rematch the situation. Okay, okay. We're live! Hello! Yay! Yay! Oh my god! Let's play! What's this? The background looking different. Where are you? Oh my god! Seems some old guy was her. I am. My first one overseas. I'm actually in Hawaii right now. I'm recently in site a gaming tournament here. Yay! Oh my god, Hawaii! What's y'all doing next to you? You. He's dead. Oh, no! No, I messed up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed up. I messed up. I'm sorry. Ah! I was looking at the text, man. Start the game. Yeah. I'm gonna fail so badly.
Oh.
Oh, I don't have to play the game. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Woohoo! Did it! Nailed the combo! Fucking sweet! Let's go! Next time we're pulling up a single combo. Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Chat, I'm so embarrassed tonight. I'm keep messing up tonight. Oops. I took carried away. I keep really, do I have to keep messing up tonight? Tonight stream. Okay, okay, okay. No. Oh, come on. I was still win that round. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. Yeah! Yeah, we did it! We did it! We did it! Yeah, we did it! They're engaged. Yeah, let's go. Round 5, ready. On for the final round. Woohoo! Let's go. Yeah. Hang in there, Captain Machima. Let's go. Come on, Captain. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Go KO! Yay! We did it! We did it! We won! Machima, you did it! I'm a fighting game legend! Yeah! Let's go! Mazima! 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 Yeah! Dude, that is so great to see these kinds of games. They want to see somebody win. Just watching these kind of cool competitive gaming is so much fun to watch. Let's go! Yay! Subscribe! Like and subscribe, everybody! So we messed up a couple times. Oh, it's the old style kind of controllers. My god. That's so cool. Oh, I know, right? Just playing games with people and strangers. It's just so nice to do that. Ooh. Thank you. Yay! Varies, but quality game's about 100,000 yen. That'll be like what? It's like $1,000. Oh god. Well. Oh my god, it costs so much money to get new PC and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, chat. Being a full-time content creator, I spent so much money too. Both VTubing and voice acting. Worth it. Got all 5 of them ready to hold that party. No problem is, how do I know about throwing a party? I'm at Revolt anyway, this is perfect timing. Help! We must throw a mixer party. There you are. We got them all. Got them all. Let's go.
Oh.
Yeah, I wooed them all. All 5 of them. Damn.
Oi!
Damn. Hey, he was married. He was married. Almost had a kid, but didn't work out. Alright, alright, alright. Let's go. Let's go. Minamo. Minamo. Minato. I think it's Minato girl. Let's go. Are we having another date? Ayo.
Hi.
You had a date with him? Huh? Peter! Share! Share! Somebody's a cheater! Oh no, he's great at cooking! Husband material! Yeah! Let's go! Yeah! Yum yum yum! Delicious! Yeah! Alright, they're on board, they're on board!
Hi.
Let's go! Hey, all the girls fighting over him. Let's go! Let's do it! Let's do it! This is what this stream is for! Let's go! Ooh, do we get to dress him up? Hey, Masaru, I got a surprise!
Oh. Hmm?
Might be a dream come true. Come on over.
Eh?
Mina, it's a ward party. Let's go. Let's be a friend. Let's be a bro. Yay! Yeah. Dandelion, really? No. Really? Really? It's lame. It's a lame flower. Yeah! Oh. Show a good time! Let's go! Yay! Let's see how it goes! How's it gonna go? Oh! Oh my! This is not what I expected!
普段はあんまりパーティーとか行かないんですけど、
What the fuck?
今回料理人で ユニーク面白くて
I'll look it up right
マ
now.
サルさんという方が来るって聞いたので正直ちょっと楽しみにしてます。
What the f-
マサルさんコスプレイヤーが好きなのかわかんないけどでも私面白い人が好きなんでちょっとでも興味持ってもらえるようにちょっと頑張りたいと思います。
Okay, I really like how Yakuza able to make the everybody's
今日はマサル
model.
さんという本当に素敵な男性に出会えるということで
Ah,
とっても
but
楽
this
しみに
is
して
like
きま
what
し
the
た。
fuck?
私は旅行がすごい好きなんですけどマサルさんもそういうのが一緒になんか旅とかできたりするような
They're very good at like making the facial and the hairstyle, all that stuff.
頑張ります。
But oh my god, really? They're gonna make it like that?
最近ずっと海外出張が多くてあんまり出会いがなくてもうずっとデートとかもしてなかったので今日すごい楽しみにしてます。すっごく面白い方に出会えるって聞いた
Holding
の
a
で
dandelion.
どんな会話なんかウィットに富んだ
Oh
会
my
話とかできる
god.
のかなって思っていて
Oh,
すごく楽しみです。よろしくお願いします
or
レースクイーンのお仕事って結構出会いありそうだねって言われ
like a
るんで
real
すけど
modelist.
意外とないんですよね。なので今日パーティーでマサルさんに会えるって聞いてすごい楽しみにしてきました。
Yeah, he cooks. Yeah, he
料理
cooks.
人
He's
って
gonna
いう風
cook.
にも伺ってるので
He's
仲良
gonna
くなっ
cook for you
て私の
guys.
大好物とかいっぱい作ってもらえたらいいなって思います。いい出会いになるように頑張ります。今日はすっごくかっこよくて
Oh, that's a pretty
しかも料
dress.
理もうまくて優しくてお金持ちの素敵な男性
He's
と出会える
rich.
って聞いて楽しみ
Oh,
にしてきました。今日はその人と愛し
I like
愛
this
される
dress.
関係
This
に
is a
なれ
really
るよ
nice
うに
dress.
頑張りたいと思います。
Okay, let's see how it goes. Love journey, my Minato girl. My eyes. This is my eyes. This is my eyes for the whole time. Oh my god, let's go. Oh, goodbye. Dun, 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 dun.
じゃあ緊張しますね。ちょっとどうしよううまく喋れるかな。私
Oh.
張り切り方もすごいから。喋れるかな。
At least all the girls got along. Hee hee.
お待たせ。
Oh my god.
今日は僕のために集まってくれた。
Hey, look, it's the VA too.
僕の
it's himself
恋人にふさわしい
too.
な。この子いいなって感じた子に
Looks like he's filming. It's being filmed too.
渡しちゃおうかな。そう。ああ、そう。今日は楽しんでいってください。
Hey, let's go. Let's see who's the one.
ガンガンはめ外しちゃって。
What the fuck?
いいね、いいね。いいね、いいね。
Oh, they even gave him the marking from his face. Wow.
乾杯。
Wow, they're so detailed. What's his face too? Oh my gosh. What is this, champagne? I don't like. This doesn't look like champagne.
パンクのにあるよね、これ。
Oh, so cute. Wow.
どこに、どこ、あ、おおおおお。
Whoa, 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 whoa. This must be the life, everybody. Imagine like this. Oh, he's so drunk. Oh my god. Oh.
よし、もう巻いちゃえ。
Imagine like all those not safe work VAs around. There's one rich guy. They're like, yeah. Oh my gosh. Like a bachelor. It would be fun. And everybody's getting paid.
カシューナッツ来るんだよ。カシューナッツ来る。食べた。
Oh my god, ew.
無理だっつってね
I mean, he ate a bat. Ah.
乗せた分だけあげますよ乗せた分だけあ、ちょっとね乗せた分だけあげますよ乗せた分だけあげますよちょっとごめんちょっとごめんね申し訳ない
No English, love, faithfulness, grief, bitterness. Ah. The money's sticking out.
ああいやいやいやいや楽しませてもらってますよ
Yeah, which one you're picking?
いや最高ですよ盛り上がってます盛り上がってます盛り上がってるよね
Yeah.
こんな感じではいおおもちろんもちろんいや最高ですよでこの後どうすればいいんでしょうかいやこの後どうすればいいですか
Well, pick a girl, any girl. Oh my. All right, Chad. You want to help me out here? Yeah, we gotta tell him. And I look how the money's just sticking out from there, but hey, what do you want to pick? I'm gonna go for sell him on your overflowing charm. I'm gonna go for a second one. How about you guys? This is not what I expected on tonight's stream. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Option 2. Alright, we got 2 votes for option 2. I mean, yeah, we owe you that one, especially when you're out there risking your life for me, becoming one of the pirates for me. You know, you deserve it, man. 100%. You're a good friend. Alright, second. Yeah, come on.
あれですあれですそりゃ頑張んなきゃはいあれですよし
Let's go. I think either way, it doesn't matter. Let's see. I mean, I guess he won't be. Look at him. Worth it, right? Oh man. Oh no. Oh no. Let's see how. Alright, girls, what happened? What happened? Why didn't the party go? Did the party. Everybody seems so down. What's up? Oh no, reality based again. Here we go, here we go.
あここにいたんだ愛ちゃん
はじめまして
よろしくお願いしま
お願い
す
します
いやーマサルと申します
マサルさん楽しみにしてました
こちらこそいやーなんか一人で寂しそうに飲んでるからさお酒はみんなでワイワイ飲まなきゃ
そうですよね
I
一緒
mean,
に
yeah,
飲みますか
yeah.
もちろんよろしくお願いします
お願いします
何飲んでんの
あ、赤ワイン飲んでます
あ、そうか赤ワインかつっても赤ワインっていっぱいあるもんね
そう
お酒はどう
お酒すごい好きですよ
あ、そう
I love sake too.
俺と一緒になればねえそんじゃそこらの酒知ったかぶりしてるやつと違って世界中のお酒飲めるかもしれねえしそっちについてるお花もいいけど一輪のタンポポちゃんもこっから顔出してるしさちょっとさもっともっといろんな酒知って世界中回りたいよね
そうですね
まさについてくると楽しいぜ
I don't think you
じゃあとりあえ
wanna
ず乾杯
talk
しようか
about alcohol with her.
Join? Join?
Oui, monsieur.
どうしようかな。
Vous avez
行っ
choisi
ちゃっていいかな、今日はもう。
なんだろ
alors, à la carte
My Western guy.
du vin blanc, du rosé. Non, du vin blanc,
10番風呂ってなんだよ。10番風呂ってなんだ。
du vin blanc.
入りまくってんの人。1番風呂の時だったら言うの分かるけど、10番風呂って言わない方がいいよ。今10番風呂ですだったら入りたかねえよ。
Can somebody here speak Japanese?
Yaourt. Du yaourt. Du yaourt. Yaourt blanc.
That turned
飲むヨーグルト。
Très bien.
yogurt.
Très bien, monsieur.
10番風呂で売りになっ
It's
て
so,
ねえか
it's so awkward.
ら。1番風呂だけでいいよ。
Je vous amène ça.
Yeah, just water.
入りまくっちゃってんじゃん。結構似合うかもしれない。
う。本当ですか？
君が一番似合うのかな。
美味しい。
ただお酒で少しほんのり赤くなった表情とタンポポが
Milk.
あるのかもしれない。
Excusez-moi.
確かに。
Voilà votre yaourt.
Yogurt drink. Oh, yogurt drink. It's gibberish. I know it's not Japanese. They're like,
お酒。
like they were
そう
just.
今ねこれぐらい真っ白い
It's a yogurt
フラ
drink.
ンスなのかな。おそらく南の方なんだけど
It looks like milk.
濃いめの乳化したワインなんだよね。
Uh-huh.
化したわ。
そうそうでこれを
Ew,
菊をかき
awkward.
混ぜて乳化
Yeah,
さ
it's
せ
just
たワイン
milk.
がこれで実は俺はこれが一番好き。
Milk.
申
Who
し訳ない
wants
けど
some
それは
milk here?
少し、味気ないけど全然君には似合う。
Just language barrier.
あ、はい、乾杯。
さあ、愛ちゃ
Bye.
ん、最高の今日は出会いになりました。マサルです。改めまして。
はいです。よろしくお願いします。
乾杯。
乾杯。
Kanpai.
それ。さっき。
I know, right? It's just milk. Just spoiled milk.
これはちょっとごめん。俺久々に今日回るか
It's
も。
just milk.
あ、どんな味するんで
It
す
tastes
か？
like milk.
乳化させてるんだけど、ものすごいドローっとした感じで、
Nice.
すごくいいね。お乳好きなんだよ。もともと。
それ飲むヨーグルト。
Greek yogurt?
飲むよ
飲むヨーグルト？
飲むよ
飲むヨーグルト？
飲みすぎるとお腹良くなるんだよ。
飲むヨーグルトですよね、それだから。
Yogurt drink. Yeah, I don't have to drink tonight.
これで今日もし俺が見失っちゃったら、
でもそれお酒入ってない飲むヨーグルトですよね。
生ハムいただくね。
Nope. Nope.
うわ、からの。
Well, that was awkward. Huh, exactly. Sorry, Alright, the cosplayer. What do we have here? What's wrong? Don't look so happy. Alright, next. White foamy alcohol beverage. Okay.
Ooh, aquarium.
Hello.
写真好きなの。
結構撮るのも撮られるのも好きです。
あ、そうか。確かにたくさんいつも撮影されてるもんね。
あ、そうなんですよ。コスプレ。
Oh yeah,
そう
she was
か
a cosplayer.
たまにはこうやっ
Yes.
てお魚を撮って逆に息抜きしてたりして。カメラを向けられると魚たちは 緊張すんのかな。
Yeah,
そう
yeah,
なん
they
ですよ
do.
ね。
こんな可愛い子がカメラ向けるとちょっと泳ぎが硬くなってるような気がするな、俺だけ。
本当ですか？
いつも撮られる側だからたまには撮る方の気持ちも味わわないとね。
そうですね。
Mhm.
いいポーズ撮ってくれてる？
でもすごく元気に泳いでます。
Yeah, find some good. Yeah.
こういう珍しいとこも逆に撮っちゃうかな。あ
When
そ
you
う
get the
俺
camera.
も実は写真好きなんだ。
そうな
Ah.
んですか？
Ah.
写真は結構昔から好きで、
うん。
いろんな歩いてる途中に見つけたも
Okay,
のとか、
okay.
いろんな気になるものをシャッターに収める。それが自分の趣味の一つでもあるんだよね。どう？ちょっと少しだけ撮影させてもらっていい？
え、私ですか？
僕が撮ってあげるよ。このタンポポに
It's a little awkward.
じゃ
Awkward.
あ、ちょっとだけお願いしようかな。
どう？カジュアルな方が好き？それともちゃんときっちり撮りたいタイプ？
でも私コスプレイヤーなんでどっちでも。
お任せコース。
はい。
よし、撮ろう。行こ
お願いします。
Yeah.
う。移動して、そうそう移動して、
はい
そうそうそうそうそうそう移動して、そう行くよすぐ。よっしゃ。
Oh my
よろしく
gosh.
お願いします。はい、改めてマサルです。よろしくね。
お願いします。
緊張しないで全然。
Oh my god.
はい、素敵です。
Yay.
なんだか深海に潜り込んだみたいだな。
Where did they get all these equipment?
でもさ、
はい。
深海っていろんな生き物いるじゃない？
そうです
そう
ね。。
昔さ、潜った時さ、
Oh my
ウナギだ
god.
と思ったらさ、
Okay, as like a
よく聞くと
cosplayer, you have to
ウミヘビだった。
get taken by a lot of pictures.
そうだよ。足にさ、なんか魚に突っかかれたと思ったら普通のさ、なんかもだったことない？
Let her get ready.
いいね。深海を泳ぐように。そうそうそうそうそうそう。そう。
Picture.
そうそう、両方でいくよ。
はい。
Oh my god, his face. What's with his face?
そうそうそう、素敵だね。
I don't think you're
あ
supposed
んまり
to.
さ、一人でいくつものカメラ撮るってことないでしょ。
What's with his face, man?
あんまりないかも。
そう、自分はね、両方やってんだ。こうやってまずカメラ撮る。自分で
Okay.
カメラ撮ってあげる。じゃあこいつ喜ぶから。
Okay.
こいつはこう
Okay.
そうそうそう。だから逆に君は撮らない。
Huh? What?
そう、ほらほらほら、喜んでる。
What?
あの声って覚えといて。
はい。
カメラ
would
喜ん
you
でる
use
か
the
ら。普通だと、ほら、でしょ。
はい。
あ、
Um,
そうほらほら。
that's a lot of flashing, man.
ほら。そしてこいつで今君を撮るんだ。
あ、はい。
そうそうそう
Oh,
そう。
oh,
素敵だね。少し笑顔が見たいから
exactly. My face.
もっともっ
My
と
face.
もっと幼少期の頃のように柔らかく、もっとあどけなくあどけなくあどけなくあどけなく10代、小学校、そして乳児期、これぐらいかな。
Huh? Huh?
そうそう。
Why? Nope. Okay. I mean, it's so awkward now. Oh my god, like, oh, photography sounds nice. taking a picture. You expect them to snap quick pics with their phone. I know, right? Yeah, that's not gonna work out. No, 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 no. Alright, Amato is this next. What's wrong? What's wrong, girl? Okay. Alright, next.
ごめんごめん。危ねえ。いきなりつまずくとこだったよ。
すごいサングラス。
そうそう。聖
The pretty
子ちゃ
model
ん
is.
でよかったんだっけ？
聖子です。
その呼び方で大丈夫かな？
呼び捨てがいいな。
よいしょ。この店いいよね。
ね、雰囲気がすっごいいいですよね。
使いやすそうだし。
Interesting strain to tonight, huh, Chad? Oh my gosh.
お肉か。そうかそうか。お肉は好き？
大好きです。
Steak? Me? I don't like steak. I'm sorry to say that, Chad. I don't like
言って
steak.
も俺はシェフ関連。作るお仕事だから。
Yeah, you're a chef. Yeah, you're a chef. He's a chef.
で話言ってんの？
Oh no, he's gonna talk about eating a
ちょっ
bad.
と待って、どこまで行ってる？なんかさ、何もかも洗いざらしになんかバレてんの嫌なんだけど、話どこまで行ってる？
でもそのマサルさんってお名前とあと料理
Oh
人をされ
no.
てて料理がうまいっていうのを伺ってたので、
自分はまあ作るのは大好きで。
何でも作れるんですか？
ん？
何でも作れるんですか？
望みがあればすべて。
見たい見てみたいです。
Yeah, I wanna
今
see
日
you
さ、
cook.
俺決めてきちゃってるし、
あ、確かに。
一緒に食べようってことのモードだから、
はい。
今日はちょっと作る側やめさせろや。
まあ確かに食べるのも楽しみたいですけど。
今日は
I know, we're watching a dating show. I know, right?
なんで
This is very long.
されたら
So
かっ
long.
こいいとこ見てみたいな。
Oh. Oh. Let that girl charm
シェ
you.
フでエプロン
Oh, looks like the girl charmed you.
お借りできる
Ooh.
嬉しい。作ってくれるんですか？
Don't cook bats. Don't cook bats. Don't cook the bat. Don't cook the bat. Don't do it. Cook proper food.
お待たせしました。ごめんね、準備かかっちゃって。じゃ
Yeah.
あ早速なんかチャチャチャっと作りますか。
Yay.
楽しみ。
Yay.
動けるやつ動いて全員で厨房に一回さ電源こっちに全部回しちゃって。他の電源全部切っちゃえ。でこっちに全部回しちゃって。
あ
出力全部こっち。動けるやつ動け。動けないだったらもう意味ねえぞ現場にいる。
Don't tell me
ごめん
this.
ね。
すごいですね。
Oh. Oh, he's making one of those grill things.
シャキシャキっとした食感が
はい。
自分的におすすめ
Okay.
で。
シャキシャキ。
そう。
Yeah, it's
で
crunchy.
なんだろうまあ尻尾ついがするとおかしいけど、なんかちょっとした尻尾みたいなのついてて、
尻尾。
それを取る人もいるし。
Don't tell me this actor is not a chef.
そうそう。これがね不思議な食材でね、
はい。
なんつうんだろう。炒めすぎてもダメだし、
That is true
かといって
facts.
そのままだと少しお腹には消化には良くないかもしれないから、
はい。
その頃合いがすごい
You can actually eat them raw,
Hey.
bean sprouts. You can eat them in salads. Is he really delicate with... Is he just only making bean sprouts? Oh, okay, stylish. Okay. Is he...
もうそろそろ大丈夫ですか？焦げちゃわないですか？
大丈夫。
Okay, what are you trying to show off? It's a lot of pepper. Did you put a lot of pepper? You're showing off a bit too much. Look at all the salt and pepper. What the hell? Is he showing off a bit too much? Nothing but. It's not that a super seasoned bean sprouts.
さあ、あとお皿に乗っけてほぼほぼ完成。よし。お待たせ。シンプルイズベスト。
Yay! Your face. I love her face. That was good. Looks like good acting. They all have her good acting. Just have fun with it. Alright. Yeah. That's a big no for me. They can't cook. You know, me too. Teppanyaki. Yeah, that's what it's called. Teppanyaki. Someone who needs meat and teppanyaki. Oh god. I just don't like it that way. Me too. Alright, fourth one. And
I'm in danger.
hello, Barry. Hey, how you doing? We're watching a dating show. Hope you enjoy the show. Ooh, she looks so buff.
最高です。二人きりで嬉しいな。
そう、なんだかわかんないけど。
She does look a little buff, don't you think so?
他の二人っきりとはちょっと違うような気がするな、俺だけ。
本当に？嬉しい。
どうだろう。なんか相性も良さそうだし。早い。今どこ指さした？
Okay, okay.
早い。ちらつかせてるだけ。まだ早い。
目に入っちゃうから。
このタンポ持って
So
さ。
cute. How you doing, Barry? Thank you for following.
突き破って出てきた一輪なのよ。
Yeah, we're just watching the sub story and it's taking forever. But we got one more after this.
これが綿毛になる頃にはきっと。
どっちに飛んでいっちゃうかな。
Okay, this one was going good. What happened?
シャワー浴びてくるかな。
早くない？
早いかな。フライ君かな。どうだろう。俺は流れ的にもうシャワー浴びちゃっていいような空気にはなってる気はするんだけど。先行ってきますわ。で、入念に体を洗ってきます。
綺麗に今以上に綺麗になっちゃう？
今以上。なんだろう、ちょっと時間かかるかもしれないけど、丹念に行かしてもらうよ。
じゃあ分かった。心の準備して待ってる。
待っててね。
Ooh.
これ預かっとこうか。
バカ。これはシャワーまで持っていきます。
Ooh, let's go. Yay. Alright. He's washing up. Is it gonna take so long in the shower? Oh my god! We're watching him go take a shower.
頭だけちょっと一発でもう一回ゆるっゆるっ
Is he just really taking his time showering?
ゆるっ
You're sleepy. What?
ちょっと数分置くから数分置くからちょっと待ってて浸透させるから
We're safe. Yeah, he's wearing underwear.
浸透させるからちょいと待ってて
What? Why is he taking so long in the bath and the showers? Yeah, don't worry, he ain't like completely. They're just filming him showering. Dude, you spent an hour showering.
よーし待っててね
Uh-huh, that's what you said a few minutes ago.
はいお待たせかごちゃんあれ
Nope.
かごちゃん照れちゃってんのかな出ておいでもう綺麗になったよごめんねちょっと90分ぐらいかけて
90 minutes in the shower.
90分90分長いな風呂はな
Why would you spend that long in a
Oi.
shower?
帰った帰っちゃったしょうがない
We spent so long in a shower. Bruh. Don't worry, he was wearing an undie. 2 hours, I know, right? Right. Alright, one girl left. Come on, let's oh yeah, let's have a good one. Thank you. Alright. I mean, it can't be that bad, right? Yeah. He was clean. What is it? Alright. Last one. One was the pretty dress. I like that dress.
おお
どうも来ちゃいました。
どんどん君子
来ました。
来てくれた全然 OK
ありがとうございます。入ってもいいですか？
むしろはい
あ、じゃあ失礼します。
はい
She must be the last girl to be filmed because he had to take a shower.
てっぺいちゃん
はい
今日はいつもよりも少し時間がかかってるね
すみません気合い入れて
だよな
Ah.
見ててよ
え、気合い入れてくれてるんですか？
Okay, I guess we're not
こうや
alone.
って違うヘアスタイルしていわゆるイメージプレイっつうかコスプレっつうかさ
コス
Uh-huh.
プレ好きで
Okay.
す。
いいタイミングに来たね
嬉しいです。
そうか今日の生活量は何だい
好き油ですね特殊な
Ah, I see. I see.
好
Pretty
き
cool.
油。
What's that? Oh, hair oil.
どん
Ah.
なボタニカルオイルなんだろ
ラブアイですね
う。
Oh, okay.
なんてじゃないよ
Ah,
ラ
ha,
ブオイルだって
ha,
よ
ha.
素敵ですね。
なかなかなこと言うね風呂上がりはね私はちょっとやっぱりこうやって目ちょっとねプライベートはこのメガネなんですよ
あ、さっきと違う。
そうそうそうそう、
Yeah.
五郎丸にいるときは 基本的に活動してる時は裸眼だけど、夜寝る時とかリラックスモードの時はこのメガネ。
いや、じゃあプライベートのマサルさんに会えたってこと
Ooh,
ですね。
let's
今日は
go.
本当にさ、終わり、
はい、終わりましたよ。
完成。
はい。
ありがとうね。
いえいえいえ
うん。で、一個話があるんだけど、
はい。
ちょっと二人きりにしてくれよ
はい、はい、わかりました。すぐ。
Ha ha ha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ラブ、ラブ、ラブ、ラブ、
Love, love, love oil.
ラブ、ラブ、
早く行けよ。ラブオイル。
Her face. Ah, love oil, huh? Oh, love oil. Trying to like.
ってなわけで、ラブオイルビッタビタにつけちゃって
Oh, I see what it is. Why he's covering love oil.
よし、取り組み始まるか。行くぜ。マサル、マサル。行きますか。待っててくれよ。今日の取り組みはちょっぴり、いや、かなりハードになるかな。マサル。体も洗ったし、
A little bit too honest.
綺麗な。
Just a little bit too honest, right? All rejected
つ
him.
いただけだよこれ。みーちゃん、
In the shadow.
なんでだ。なんでこうなるかな。なんでこうなるか
You're
な。なあ。
just a little bit too yourself right there.
一人しっかり相手してくんないじゃん。結局こうです。結局。
I know, right? You can see a reflection. Ugh. I'm sure someone will accept you for who you are. Ouch. Yeah. He's so little. He gave it to none. Oh god.
さあ、いよいよこの時が来ましたね。この花、誰に渡す？みんな良かった。みんな
They all walk away.
正直この子が特別いいってのはことはない。どうしようかな。
Hey guys, which girl do you want? I like the cosplayer. Who you want to pick, chat?
Yoshi. 君に決めたぜ。
Nope. What's the point of choosing? I know some voice. Oh, that girl. That's really funny. The sub story was so funny. You blew it, man. You were too honest. Oh, he's so depressed. Yeah, it's a learning experience. You'll find the one, yeah. Oh, no wonder.
Hmm?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yay. Yeah, we had fun. Yay! We made a new friend. I know, right? Exactly. Secret. Oh!
Hmm?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, oh. Get me out of my misery. Oh, oh no, oh no. Hey, let's go. Good old pirate. We want to be closer to you, Majima. Alright, let's go. Oh my. Somebody's fighting over here. Let's go. Oh gosh. Minamoto girls. I can't believe they're all looking really good. Oh my god, they're all pretty good. Oh shoot. I trained them up. Minato Hero Choir. That was pretty funny. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh. Oh my god. Yes, I need these eyes. I need these eyes. Love at first sight? Congratulations. Oh my god, I got 6-1. So, tonight was a bit awkward, but it was fun. It was still fun in the end. And, I really feel it's time to end the stream. And train up the new girls. Surprising not all. Yeah, it's not surprising. Love at first sight. Let's go, everybody. What a beautiful moment. A dream come true for two people. Alright, let's go ahead and just, let's see. Anybody to rate tonight? No, not really. Unfortunately, no. Alright, that's enough for the night. Enough awkwardness for the night. I hope everybody here enjoyed this tonight's stream. Lots of screaming. An unexpected screaming tonight. Tomorrow, Wednesday. Oh, tomorrow is definitely when I'm going live on my second channel, my other channel. I'm continuing playing Poppy Playtime, Chapter 4. I'm having a lot of fun on this game. Oh, thank you, thank you. You got it'll be the same time, 9 p.m. PST. So if you guys are willing to come here, please, I do appreciate that, but it's not necessary. Workings are good. So yeah, yeah. I bet there's gonna be lots of clips tonight. So, anyways, yeah, I'll go ahead and just end the stream. So, thank you all for lurking, watching, and coming over to the stream tonight. I'll see you all tomorrow as another character. Bye! Bye! Awkward moment tonight. Awkward.